What's up, guys? Welcome to Bluepresents, a podcast. I'm your host, Blue Rivera, and today on my show, I have a longtime good friend of mine, Brandon Winchester, aka BDUB Music Man, and this is a great conversation because it talks a lot about my time in Jacksonville. It talks about Brandon getting into music, and just talks about a very special time period in my life, as well as you hear Brandon's story about where he was and where he is now, going from post-hardcore and rock music to hip-hop music. And I'm just very, very excited for this conversation. I really hope you guys enjoy this. But also remember, man, if you'd like to be a guest on my show or you have a show idea, hit me up on Facebook at Blue Presents a Podcast, Instagram and Twitter, Podcast of Blue, man. And just want to say thank you guys so much. We've gotten to 5,000 downloads as a lifetime show, man. And this truly, truly means a lot to me, man. I know we've had a lot of stop, start, finish here. But I truly, truly appreciate that people care enough to continue to listen to this show. So I appreciate you guys so much. Special shout out to my wife. Special shout out to my good friend, Brandon Cooper, and anybody who continues to support me. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this show. What's up, guys? Welcome to Blue Presents, a podcast where I discuss all things music and how it affects my life, man. And I am joined by a longtime friend, basically family at this fucking point. He's a fucking singer, he's a bass player, he's a fucking producer, he golfs too, man. There isn't anything I can't think that my good friend Brandon Winchester can't do, aka BDUB Music. What is going on, man?
What's up? I'm so thankful to be on your podcast, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And we're gonna have so much fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, man. Because there's just like, man, I've known you since like 07, bro. Maybe even 06-ish.
I would say 05.
Oh, actually, yes.
Yeah, I would say 05.
You know what I'm saying? This is one of those times where I wish we could bring another friend on, a good friend, Josh Tyson, man.
I do. Right when I said that, I knew you were gonna say that name. Yeah, I do love the random times with Josh Tyson. So many stories. Yes, man.
So we're gonna get into it, man. My first question for every guest, it's going to be the same for you, my brother. It is, what are your top 5 artists? It could be of all time. It could be right now. It's definitely not the new Drake album.
Oh, man, dude. All right. So I'm going to have to talk about that album because he is in my opinion, Drake is probably the most influential musician of my life, including when I did rock music.
Okay.
Still to this day. But
I'm gonna offer a counter opinion to that too as well.
Okay. All right. So Drake is 1. Circa Survive is number 2 all time. I would say number 3 would be Mac Miller. Huge Mac Miller fan. Rest in peace. 4th would be Under Oath. They will always and forever be a place and time for Under Oath. And then I would say number 5 is Lil Wayne for me. If we're going all genre of music, it's like I'm back and forth.
No, it's the same thing with me, man. It just definitely flows back and forth, man. And I definitely think once again, it just shows the dichotomy of like how music affects us differently, man. You went from like post-hardcore to rap to, everything in between kind of, you know what I'm saying? And when I heard Circa Survive, I was just like, Brandon, I have to say, reason why I'm so excited is because, and I will always say this, you are absolutely one of my favorite fucking singers, like of all time, plus singers I've actually worked with. So like you're always one of my favorite. That. Yeah, no, for real, man.
Appreciate that.
And when it comes to voices, man, I can think of like 3 other guys that when I hear them sing, I know exactly who the fuck they are when I hear their voice. And you are one of them.
I appreciate that. And for the longest time, I mean, I've done you've known I've done music forever.
Mm-hmm.
I've ran from it so many times. I just feel like, you know, the older I get and the more I put myself out there, even with like relationships or at work, like the more I've learned so much about less is more. So when I do music, it's the only time where I'm like, all right, I'm putting myself out there. I know I'm different. I know not everyone's not going to like me. I know that my vocals when I sing are higher than others. And I know that I'm in a realm of just kind of uniqueness, I guess. And I've now turned to a point where I don't give a shit about what people think. I truly just want to be myself.
Yeah. And I think, you know, just to even piggyback off of what you're saying, and just to kind of give you a gist, my podcast is just talking about the journey, man, and how it all connects us and how, you know, us as artists, while we may have different backgrounds, there's something about this thing, music, we love so much that really, truly gives us an emotional, deep connection. So I'm going to start talking, you know, I'm going to ask you about, you know, where the love for music came from. I know, having known you for so long time, I know your dad's studio was one of the first like full-fledged studios I ever was in. So let's talk a little bit about that and how that love for music started for you, man.
So first of all, that's crazy that you remember that.
Yep.
That is so insane. Yeah. So my dad, and just for people who don't know, my dad, he had, you know, he was bored and he loved music. So he bought like piece by piece his own studio and, you know, got a Mac and was working on GarageBand. But before that, music started for me way before that. So I used to I played basketball and like religiously travel ball. That was my thing. And I would always, when I watched basketball games, they always did the national anthem. And I would always hum it when I played. I would sing it when I watched it. So I used to have this tape recorder, little like radio jukebox thing or whatever. And I would record myself singing the national anthem on a tape, like a cassette, and I would play it back. And I could never get it to sound good, like ever. And then when I got into high school, I started like hearing about like screamo bands. And that music to me was so easy to sing. Whereas when I saw these famous musicians and people do the national anthem, they always had like a crazy, like soulful twist that I could never master. And when I would sing like, you know, screamo bands or post-hardcore shit, I was like, this is easy. Like I can hit all those simple notes. And I think why I really started falling in love for music as far as being an artist was when I listened to a Taking Back Sunday album. It's the one with the little baby on it. I forgot what that one's called. Little kid on it. He's standing in the road. But anyways, I started singing that album and I just didn't stop singing. I sang everywhere I could sing. I sang in the car on the way to school, with my headphones walking home from school. I just sang as much as I could. And if I found something new, I would try to mimic that singer. And I just was like an open book. I felt like singing was the only thing that I could do. Didn't matter if it was raining, didn't matter if I had friends around me, I could do it anywhere. And that was kind of how my love for music started.
I'm trying to think back to when I first saw you. It might have been, I think I want to say like an Odd Fuel show that I first heard you sing. And I'm trying to remember what band you were in at the time.
I was in Live Till the Day with my first Fuel shows.
Yeah.
With Josh.
Yeah. And I think this was before. I was going to say, I think this was before I joined. So I'm trying to think back to that time. Cause I don't remember exactly how I even got involved. But I just know that, you know, Josh was like, hey, you should come with me. I think you're a good screamer and you should try out this song. And I think that was the first time I like officially met you. Like I had seen you at shows and shit, but I think that was the first time I officially met you, and we recorded Outbreak of the Lesser.
Oh my God. I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And we were in your dad's studio.
Yeah, my dad's studio.
Yeah, and we were tracking it, and we thought we had that shit so lit, bro. I remember we left so hyped. That song was so fucking, to me, it was sick. I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking dope. And then like your voice with my vocals and all that shit, man, that was just some shit right there, man. I just, woo, yeah, man, that brings back some feelings. I wish I had that song, but
we'll never be able to find it. Oh wait, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think.
And then I also remember practicing at Caleb's house and shit like that. I think
in Green Cove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I swear. Yeah, I swear we practiced over there. We practiced a couple times at like your dad's studio, and then I remember, I can't remember who booked the show or whatever the case was. It was a plea for purging.
Plea for purging.
Oh my God, that was our first fucking
band with like the big like bald dude.
Yeah. I remember that because this is a stupid anecdote. Sorry, I'm like going off.
It's okay.
I remember it because we were watching their set with Miss Wendy, Josh's mom, and he spit up into the air, caught it with his hand, and then put it with his pocket. And Miss Wendy looked over and was like, "Ew."
She was so sweet. I love her.
Oh my God, bro. That was like, I just remember that look on her face. She was so disgusted and appalled.
Yeah, that is like, disgusting.
Yeah, for
hilarious. And they were really awesome. I remember that.
Yeah,
they played a lot of shows in Jacksonville.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. Seeing them after we played with them, I remember seeing them like every 5 or 6 months. I saw them on a ticket. I was like, geez, those guys.
It was like, I was gonna say it was them and My Children, My Bride, because it was like every time I turned around, they were playing a show in Jacksonville. So obviously, like when you started out, you were not only just a singer, you were a bass player and stuff like that. Right. How did you get into playing bass and stuff like that?
In the studio, my dad had an Ovation acoustic guitar, and I started like, this is all right. Full disclosure. I'm putting it all out there. Remember Celebration Church off Kingsley?
Yes, I do. I've been to a couple shows there myself.
All right. So every time I would go to Celebration, there would always be some like lame dude in the corner playing acoustic, and all the chicks were like, "Oh my God, he's just playing so cute." And I was like, "Dude, he's not even that good. I can do that right now. Like, get out of here." And I didn't play the guitar. So I like went and grabbed my dad's Ovation, and I literally like taught myself how to play chords. And Josh was a big help on that. He always taught me how to because Josh was a really good guitarist. Not many people knew that. Josh could shred. So Josh would show me a lot of jazz chords. And so he got me on there. And then once I started playing acoustic, because him and I would do acoustic sets together. And then once I was playing acoustic, I was like, I'm just going to play bass for the band because I don't want to find a bass player. It's really difficult to find a good bass player. It's extremely hard. I feel like finding a guitarist and a drummer is way easier than finding a really good bass player, in my experience.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Which is crazy because it was just like a bass player is like such an ugly thing, but yet you had this amazing voice that people would just hear you, and it didn't matter, once again, full disclosure, Live to the Day wasn't the greatest fucking, post-hardcore band ever.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It was not. No, it was so fun though.
But there was so much. Yeah, it was, bro. It was so much raw talent between all of us that just, you know what I'm saying? I just remember whenever people heard your voice, it was just like instant. Everybody's like, I've only had one more time where that has actually happened to me. There's a band here in Connecticut. Originally, the vocalist was in a band called With an Honor, and I heard this kid sing, and it was one of those moments where I'd never heard of the band before, but when I heard his voice, I was just like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Out here with all the soul. If you want to check out a really good band from up here, Dreamwake, one of my favorite fucking bands, love those guys, and it's because that dude has a very unique singing voice, which makes him number 3 on my list of my favorite singers that I know. It's just super, like I was gonna say, super unique and stuff like that. But I always felt like that with you. Whenever anybody heard your voice, it was like, gravity attaching to an object, man. Everybody was drawn in by you, and just everything from that point. So going from Live to the Day, what was the next band after that? Because I have an idea, but I'm not quite 100% sure after Live to the Day.
It was Rapture Indeed.
Oh, okay. So I was correct. Now, onto one of my favorite bands of all time as well too. Just oh man. And even as far back as the Corey days as well. I remember, just hearing that, and then like Corey's like really insane highs with your singing voice was just, it was a great fucking blend. And then what you guys would later become, where you were just, your voice was on display. Still one of my fucking favorite EPs. Escape, man, is just so fucking amazing. Yeah.
Right. I listened to that the other day, probably like 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And what a great thing we did. Like, and I'm not here to toot my own horn or anything like that, but we were so young, and we literally went on the whim. We recorded at Rockbot Studios with Josh Cobb. Had never met him, went down there, and we our stuff was really raw. Actually, our music before we hit Josh was really like kind of Southern, and it was kind of raw. And
yeah, it was.
Rapture Indeed was a really weird time for me. It actually, I'm going to go into it a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because this is it. Rapture Indeed is a big part of why I do what I do today as far as a solo artist. Mm-hmm. So Rapture Indeed, I got in. It was already a band. Me and Quinn Spencer collaborated, and I started. I think I played bass for them for a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
And then, then I started doing vocals solo after we separated from Corey, and we went on a couple tours, had a blast, but I realized that as a musician in a rock band, especially in that kind of music, I realized once MySpace died, I realized that we were like nobody. Whereas on MySpace, we were like killing it. We had a shitload of plays. We had like the cool MySpace banner on the fucking top with a like cool picture. Like, it was just, we were killing it. And then MySpace died, and then we had nothing. And I remember being on the road in like Tennessee or something, or like North Carolina. I think it was Boone, North Carolina, actually. And I was like, dude, we're nobody. We have to make a Facebook now.
Yeah.
We have to make whatever. And I think it was Facebook. And I was like, I realized then and there, I was like, I don't know if this music's going to last.
Yeah.
I remember that specifically being like, man, screaming really isn't where it's at. And this is where Sonny left from first to last.
Yeah.
And he started DJing. And that like blew up. All right.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I think music's changing. Like, I don't know if like screaming and singing is a thing. And I saw it coming around the corner, and it is so dead. It's so, and like people, they have like the sad song DJ nights where they do emo nights and stuff now. That's cool. But like, bro, that shit it died so hard. Like EDM completely kicked screamo and like post-hardcore's ass that like, I felt like when I was in North Carolina in the touring van, I remember feeling like I got to start over like life.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm not a singer. I'm not an important singer. Like people don't even didn't go to shows anymore. They're like, man, I'm going to this festival. Yeah. Like, festival. What are you doing? What's that? So I don't know. That Rapture Indeed was like where the real world kicked me in the ass, and it didn't matter if I was on tour. They didn't like, no one cared anymore.
Yeah. I don't know, man, because that kind of like MySpace flavored music is kind of making a comeback right now, with bands like See You Space Cowboy, Wrist Meets Razor. There's bands that are like really tapping into that old school, like the band I can refer to the most that some of these bands sound like, or like a Drop Dead Gorgeous ish kind of sound. Where like it's like that erratic guitar with like high scream vocals. And I don't know, man, I think, people are starting to embrace the fact that like, MySpace really did something for music, you know what I'm saying? And even as recently as I was watching a video by this guy named The Cozy Representative, where he was kind of talking about the rise of Woe Is Me and how it really kind of got started because of like MySpace and stuff like that. And to think about some of the bands that started in MySpace that are still kind of around. I mean, if you think about it, Dance Gavin Dance, bands like Suicide Silence kind of had like a MySpace buzz about them as well.
Yeah.
Even like some of the deathcore music. It's crazy to me to think that like here it is, 10, 12, almost 20 years removed from some of that shit. And some of those bands are actually still going, but a lot of those bands, you're right. A lot of those bands just fell off the face of the fucking earth, and bands that we loved and shit like that. And I think back to even like our local scene in Jacksonville, like Our Finest Hour and Harlow were like the shit to us, man.
I still see Brett at like, I don't know if he's still there, but the last couple of times I saw Brett at Jackrabbits, he was bartending. I was like, dude, you're still famous to me. Like in my eyes, I remember the first time I saw Harlow, they were the first band I ever saw that had like the big lights behind them. Like they did it the right way. And Harlow was, I thought Harlow was going to make it.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to make it. I was like, Harlow's going to be famous. And I don't know.
To me, that was our Under Oath, to be honest with you. I really felt like they were definitely like our Under Oath, and it was like one of those bands that was really making it. And then I'd have to say close to them was Our Finest Hour, where it was just like, and I just remember those final shows, man, they sold out. Like, I'm saying like that should really speak to the impact. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Once again, it goes back to that whole thing where we thought this was the greatest thing ever. Other people probably didn't care as much as we cared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've had this conversation with Mike Atchison before, where it's just like, what is it about the Jacksonville scene that just kind of like we were all like, it was almost like it was all of our hands in that music scene, like we were all there together, and I think about, bands like Words in Red and Steel Breaks Wave and fucking, just
you're going way back.
For real, man. Like all these bands that I remember just absolutely loving. And every time you saw them, it was just like you were so hyped for them because you're like, yo, those are my boys. They're kicking ass right now. There's so many bands I could list right now, but I don't know. What is it about Jacksonville and that time period where we were just all together? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about that time period?
I feel that when we were all in high school, right? So like we were always connected. We were always hanging out, saw people in class. Everything was, we were always around each other. Everything as far as social status and fads meant something,
Exactly,
like that shit. Like, oh, I straightened my hair today. That meant something. I fucking wore girl jeans yesterday. That meant something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the shows, when you go to shows, it was like where you could be somebody. Because we were, in my opinion, this is just me.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but we were fucking nobodies. Like we were people. Yeah. But I'm saying like, I remember being at shows and seeing like the most nobodies of all time. Had no friends, parents dropped them off, didn't talk to anybody. And like people were at shows just to listen to that kind of music. Now, obviously, a lot of us were we all had other things going on. We were somebodies, but I'm saying, I would say as a vast majority, there was a lot of people there who didn't fit in. And that was one place where like not fitting in was cool.
Yeah.
So I just feel like as far as that, the whole scene, especially Jacksonville, I felt like it was a place where everyone could kind of congregate and feel like the nights were special. They were so special. I know that guy in that band. Blue's coming out tonight. Haven't seen Blue in a month. Oh my gosh. Can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Like Josh Tyson brought out the van tonight. It's going to be fun. So it was like the small adventures made the scene like bigger than what it was.
Yeah.
But if I look at it from the outside looking in, looking back, like what a special time period.
Very.
Like that shit would never fly now.
No.
Like
and the
high
shit
school
we did,
kids dressing the way we did and doing the shit we did, it would never fly.
No,
it would never fly. And the music wouldn't fly. I don't know. It's crazy.
No, and I feel that, and I think that's why, like, I grew up here in Massachusetts, and eventually I would come back. But to be honest with you, Jacksonville for me and forever will always be home to me because that's where I felt like the most comfortable, the most myself I could possibly be, And here I was, this overweight, tall kid. I was about a year or two older than most of you guys. And, you guys kind of like embraced me, thanks to guys like Justin Pitts, which is how I met Josh.
Yeah.
We used to go to a ton of shows. And that's where I met Kyle and everybody else that, we know and love so much, man. And it just reminds me of how special that time was for me, because I think it was the first time. And even when I lived up here and even now, and it's not to knock, over here in New England and stuff like that, but people tend to be a little bit colder. And in the South, man, it was just nothing but love. And it was just like, oh, you do vocals? Come hang out with us. We fucking, we'll do this and whatever the case is. It was. Yeah. It was nothing to see either one of us hop on a set with somebody's, band that we fucking love. And we would do some stupid shit and whatever the case is and fucking go crazy. I can't even tell you like how many house shows we played or, house shows we went to and shit like that.
How many house shows did you go to that were at Justin Pitt's house?
Bro, almost every single one of them. You know what I remember?
He had the best ones. He did. He had the best house shows, hands down.
I want to tell you a story I remember, and I don't know if you remember this. This might get us in some trouble here because there was some underage drinking involved.
No, we'll be all right.
So we all went to Justin's house. We all got trashed, and then for whatever reason, down the street from Justin's house was a school that had a mascot that was a goat that was inside of a cage. I don't know if you remember this, but we were all walking down the street looking like some fucking street gang. It was like 15, 20 of us just deep walking down this street. And fucking me, I want to say Kyle, and I can't remember who else, but like a couple of us jumped the fence to fucking chase this goat. And fucking Kyle ate shit, literally, and fucking slipped and fall trying to catch this fucking goat. I'm trying to remember what school.
It's W.E. Cherry. It's elementary school.
Yes.
And I only know that because I went to W.E. Cherry and I used to always see the fucking goats. And I used to always say to my brother, I was like, why is there fucking goats? Like, why does this school have fucking goats? And they still, till this day,
have a goat. Get out of here.
Goats. They got like 4 of them.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's not the same goat we chased. I'm sure that goat is. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I'm sure that goat is not long for this world or doesn't exist right now.
No, that goat is dead, but they've got 4 other bangers or 3 or 4 bangers over there.
Yo, and that reminds me, speaking of Justin Pitts, another band, Rise and Shine. You remember that shit? Oh my God.
God. That was such
Kyle,
Mike. We Say As a Bitch was one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yo, for real, man. There was just, and once again, like I said, this goes back to that whole thing and just something about that time period in Jacksonville itself, where like we were all just fucking together, man. I remember getting excited for Warped Tours, not just because of the bands, but because it was like, yo, who the fuck are we going to see at this fucking show, dude? Like, who's going to be there? Like, is Brandon going to be there? Is Josh going to be there? Who's going to fucking be there? And it was just like, it was the way the Jacksonville scene for me, it was like, it was our community, man. It was not only just the music, man. It was just who was around, all of us that were around each other, man. And like I said, it just reminds me of how much home that felt like to me, man, especially for someone who felt so out of place and only had this one talent of like screaming into a microphone, you know what I'm saying? And like how all of you guys embraced me, like you said, like there was time periods where it's just like, holy shit, like we're doing big things. But then when you like look at it and now where you are now as a solo artist and you're kind of looking back like, damn, we really didn't do too much. But I still think that those times met probably more than anything we could have done in our lives. You know what I'm saying? And I think because of that, some of us are probably better and well-adjusted adults and parents and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we understood at that moment in time that we were doing something that probably I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Because I've never been in any other scene, but I felt like there was no other scene that was like as fucking dope and as amazing as ours was. You know what I'm saying?
There isn't. I think I posted on Facebook like a couple weeks ago, or no, maybe it's like a month ago. I was like, hey, thank God or whatever is out there for like letting me be a teenager in that time frame. Yeah. What a cool, it's a one and done. It's never happened before.
Nope.
Never happened. But I want to bring up something that you said. You keep mentioning like how we embraced you. Blue, you've always had such a great energy about yourself. Like, it's so easy to embrace. I don't even think it's like an effort to embrace you. It's just kind of like, the older I get, I like to realize that I want people around me to have really good energy.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a lot of energy. It can be a little energy, but as long as it's good, authentic energy. So it was never hard to just be like, yo, Blue's coming, like, and then get excited about it. Cause it's like every time I would see you, you would be so excited about what I was doing. I was like, man, this guy I don't know why he like likes me so much, but I like that he likes me so much, you know? So thank you. You know, you've been great forever.
No, man. Yeah. And I appreciate that, man. Cause like I said, it just, you know, especially when I was up here, I got to a certain point where I was just like, I don't think this music thing for me up here is going to work. And it just so happened like my aunt moved to Florida, and then that kind of like started a whole bunch of things. And it's kind of like I said, you know, for that like first year, I was kind of by myself when I moved to Florida, and then meeting Justin Pitts, because Justin Pitts used to deliver. Remember Justin Pitts' dad used to do the newspaper thing?
Newspaper.
Yeah.
Go early as shit. And Kyle used to help him too. I remember that.
And they used to deliver to the Dunkin' Donuts I used to work at, and then just kind of like, I remember one day he rolled through blaring something. I'm like, bro, what do you listen to? And then he told me, and then he gave me his number, and it was just like, and he was so nonchalant about it too. And it was funny because I swear I remember him wearing glasses, and he like handed me his number out the window and was just like, give me a call, dude. And I was like, yo, this kid is so fucking cool. I was like, yo. And I remember they used to pick me up from fucking, oh, what was that mall? Oh, it's probably close. Huh?
Regency?
Yes, they would pick me up from Regency Mall because I live right down the street in the Arlington area.
Yeah.
And I used to
Mall.
And I used to fucking.
Do you know anything about Regency Mall right now?
I have no clue.
It's like not even, there's like no stores in it.
Yeah.
It's just like
it was like that when I was leaving. So
yeah, it's like nothing. It blows my mind, that area. It's like actually a really nice area to live. I know a lot, like there's a lot of like intercoastal creeks, stuff back there, really nice fishing and boating community, and a lot of great restaurants over there, but that mall is dead. Just gone. It's just
it's crazy to me. It's the same thing too. When I was coming up as a kid here in Mass, there was a mall called Eastfield Mall, and like it's in a very similar state. There really isn't a lot of places, and it's so fucking bad that when COVID happened, that's where they were doing the testing, because it was a big enough area to do it. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
Yeah, like it's fucking like it's a fucking ghost town in there sometimes. And on top of that too, they were like hosting wrestling events in the food court. Like that's how fucking dead that place was.
Oh, that is so cool.
They were just like, bring anybody, just bring just bring people. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, back to what we're talking about. We're digressing. But anyways, let's talk about what's going on with you now, man. You got new things going on, man. You switched up the style. You went away from the post-hardcore and rock music, man. Now you're doing a hip-hop centric. And let's talk about it, man. So what came about? Like, what was it about, you know, what you're doing now that like makes you excited? And, you know, like you said, you know, music before and what you did before has prepared you for this moment as a solo artist now.
Yeah. So I go under BDUB music now, solo, and I'm kind of trying to find myself there too, but I know that I'm in a lane. I'm going in a direction that I do like. It's people have asked me, so like, what's it like? What would you compare yourself to? And I haven't had that question in a long time since like doing band stuff. And like, I can't really compare it to anything, but it does have similar sounds to like and this is just my own opinion. If Mac Miller, Drake, and Bryson Tiller had a baby, like that would be what I'm going for. But yeah, so I'm at this point where I took some time off. You mentioned that I golfed, and I was in the PGA program, ran a couple golf courses, had a blast. And then I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And I saw my microphone and my pedals. I was like, man, like, I know it's going to happen. I know I'm going to come back to it. So one day I bought a couple beats. I was just like, I'm just going to tinker around. And I did a couple songs and I recorded them. And I was like, okay, this is what you do every time, Brandon. You buy, you get invested in something, and then you fall in love with it and it consumes you. So what is this going to be for you? Because music is the only thing that I do where I actually have to put out my expressions and my emotions and my feelings. So if you're going to use this as a catalyst and as a form of expression, what are you going to do? Like, what is exactly going to be the purpose? So I sat down with myself. I know this sounds dumb, but had my own little one-on-one. And I was like, for the first time of my, music career, I guess that's the way to say it. I just wanted to make music for myself.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like music that I think would be good to my ears that I also could relate to, because I'm going to bring up the Drake album. Okay. So I love Drake.
Yep.
Like great musician. He's done like the way it's not about what you do. Sometimes it's about how you do it.
Yeah, of course.
And he does it so well. So, I wait a long time for a Drake album to come out. I can't get any more Mac Miller albums, obviously. Drake album comes out. I listened to it today and I'm like, oh my God, I can't relate to any of this. It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. I don't really have any emotions. It kind of just like a dead space for me. Right. So now as a fan of music and also as a maker of music, if my number one or my top 5 can't deliver for me, I've got to put it on myself to be happy with music. Yeah. And it's not Drake's responsibility to make me like music or like his music.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just the benefit of being a fan. And, I get something from him. So I've now done the thing where I'm like, hey, I can make my own music. I like that style of music. It's not hard to do. I have enough swag to fit in. And so I tried it and I've done fairly well. I have a new song that I have released. I do this thing where I release songs, but I don't say anything. I just put them on. I'll put them on DistroKid and they'll go on all platforms and I don't say anything. And then today, because Drake dropped his album and I didn't like it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to pump mine today because we're on the topic of music today. So like today I dropped publicly a song called To the Grave. And the song is about, I was engaged last year and my fiance and I didn't work out and it killed me, bro. It killed me so much that like, it wasn't that it didn't work out. It killed me that I stayed in it so long. And like, I couldn't find anything to really relate to when even though Drake talks about a lot of stuff along those lines, like it didn't really hit the way I had things I wanted to say, like ways I wanted to say it. So that's why I started getting into solo, especially in the style of music. Excuse me. I just wanted to be able to make things for my personal problems. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It sounds kind of selfish, but that's what I'm doing it for, like my own love for it.
Yeah. I mean, and to go back to a couple of things that you said beforehand, man, I definitely understand where you're coming from when it's like, you're looking at what you have here. For the longest time, and I kind of really haven't said this quite a bit. I have a studio project that I've been doing for the last like 3 years, but I've only released like 3 songs. And a part of that is because I beat the shit out of myself about how I feel about the music that I'm putting out. And it's more of like my vocal performances and stuff like that. And I bring this up because when I think about where I'm at as a singer, I can attribute that to partly being influenced by what you did as a singer, that I've become, I'd like to think at least able to hold a better note than what I did before, cause so I'm not just doing screaming, I'm actually doing singing. And I'd like to think, like I'm way more critical about my singing voice than I am about like my screaming voice. Cause it took me a long time to be comfortable in this space here. And then now like, and having now I have like my own studio space. I don't have to like take anything down. I was living in an apartment for like a few years and I had all this equipment, but I had nowhere to put it and I'd have to pack it up all the time because it was like literally in my like kitchen and shit like that, in order for me to record and shit like that. But now I have like my own space. I've got my own area to do that. But I find myself more in my head now than I've ever felt before about music, and I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not playing shows. I'm just trying to put something out that I feel is good. But in hearing you say that, you know, like you don't give a fuck anymore, you know what I'm saying? And I
Okay.
really feel like, I really feel like maybe I should hand that myself. Cause I do have a song that's hopefully coming out soon that I've been working on for 7 months. And I'm sure it's not like anything super crazy, but I had the hardest time with the chorus and stuff like that. But I love hearing your opinion because, like I said, you know, you're one of those dudes that like really influenced, not just me as a vocalist, as a screamer, but as a vocalist, as a singer as well too, because I always was just like, you know, like thinking about songs like Don't Wake Me and just thinking about like just how that song to me, every time I hear it, your voice just carries me. Like, and
everyone's favorite song.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, there's some, hold on. Wait, there's some bangers on Escape. Okay. Let's not even front. Okay.
That's how I feel.
Yeah,
I feel like
for real.
We Could Have Been Slow Dancers was like a great song. In my opinion, that was like, it has a really long intro, but what a great song. And everyone loved Don't Wake Me. And I always felt weird about it because it has a breakdown at the end and I don't scream.
Yes.
So I'm like, God. I don't scream. But when I would play so many shows and people would like hardcore dance. And I'm like, I'm just singing over this. I don't know what you guys do. Every time.
No, I'm sorry. Every time I sing it, I always do screaming in that part. I'm not even going to front, dude. I always do.
Please, somebody shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I ain't doing it.
Oh my God. Yeah. And like, it's just one of those songs that like your voice in that song, especially for me, shines. But Silent Sleepers is another fucking banger on that.
Silent Sleepers bang too. That was a hard one to sing live. I remember that one being tough.
Yeah, I love it. No, I love it because, like I said, it's another example of like who you are as a singer and stuff like that. And then I recently just heard your other song that you released, Never Be Tied. Yeah. So I was just, once again, I'm blown away by like what you're able to do in a different genre. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't know, but I've secretly always wanted to do like an R&B album, but not like any type of R&B album, like a 90s R&B album with like those.
Oh, you talking about like real singing? You talking like the real shit?
Yo, and it's funny because do you know who Charlie Wilson is? Okay, so Charlie Wilson used to be the singer in the Gap band from like the 70s, right? And then now he does like R&B music. And it's actually Snoop Dogg who convinced him to get back into doing music because like for the longest time he was like hardcore into drugs and whatever the case is, but then he found religion and so on and so forth, as many artists do. And this man still puts out fucking love songs, not like I'm trying to sex her up, not like some legit love songs that are just like, yo. And bro, my wife cannot stand it when I put it on. She's like, oh, you putting this shit on, you over here being all sappy. You know,
on me.
Yo, and it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where like, I've always kind of wanted to do something like that, bring back some love to fucking R&B music. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like I love shit like that. And like I said, you know, you're one of those vocalists that like, has always like when I hear you sing and just like it's just a reminder, it's like, damn, how does he do that? How do I mimic that? How do I get there? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Blue. I've been having, and I know you'll hear it. I've been like clearing my throat a lot lately. Yeah. I've been having some issues vocally. I can do power vocals all day. Yeah. I can sing the hard, gritty shit all day. But I've been having, ever since I got COVID, I would say I got COVID in January, and ever since I got COVID, well, that was 6 months ago. I just haven't been the same vocally. When I go into the studio, I somehow, every time I've been in, I've gotten really lucky, and it'll be a great day. And then when I practice my set, like it'll probably take me like 5 or 6 runs to even feel comfortable. Yeah. So I don't like right now. I think one of the best parts about being in this kind of music is I can really rely on my rapping skills too. So I can like, cause on To the Grave on the second verse, I really like, I told myself I was going to really put some bars in here and I'm really going to spit it. And I was like, man, I really like how this came out. Now I don't really have to sing the whole time. Maybe I can rap some. And I'm starting to kind of find this good blend of like one verse singing, one verse rapping, and then I'll hum my way through a chorus. But my live set, and I have my first show in a month, my live set, I do power vocals over all the choruses. So the choruses are going to play or kind of like lower in the background. And I'm going to use my little reverb pedal that's on my have, and I'm going to power vocal over the chorus vocals and just go with it. I mean, because my power vocals are what I've always relied on. I can do them like it's nothing, and I'm going to run it.
Yeah, man. There's nothing wrong with that, man. And I'm super, super excited to see what you're doing musically. Before we get out of here, man, I'm going to ask you the question of existentialism right now. Here it is. What do you think people should know about Brandon Winchester that you are going to pour into BDUB? That just, like you're saying, you're going in with a different mindset. You're doing a different genre. What is it that people should really know about who you are, not only as an artist, but as a human being as well?
You hit it with a heavy hitter right there. That's how you roll. I'm gonna go back to what I've said, and it's kind of been my motto since I've been doing BDUB music. Is I really, honestly, I'm so free, and I don't give a fuck. I'm so free right now. Like I feel like myself, and I spent so many years, even in the the hardcore scene and in the rock scene, like trying to impress people.
Yeah.
Like I wear what I want to wear. I sing about what I want to sing about. I rap the way I want to rap. I say the shit I want to say. And that's what's beautiful about rap. And being a solo artist in rap is, if you really like, and this is why I wanted to bring this up. So and I'm going to answer your question completely and go into who I am and what people need to know. But when you go into the rap scene, it's so different from the rock scene. Like in the rock scene, each group has 5 people, and they're 5 different personalities, and they have their own friends who have their own personalities. There's a lot of people to impress, right?
Yeah.
In rap, it's not that way at all. At all. You literally, like, I know I've met probably 7 or 8 local rappers. They've all been so awesome, so friendly. They all think that, I mean, this is face value, but they're all like, wow, you're really unique. I haven't heard anything like this. You set yourself apart. You're a little different. And so then they say to their fans, you got to follow this dude, he's fire. And their fans are like, well, I like that guy, so he must be good. Of course. So I get co-signed, and it's like, it's easy. So on top of that, when I'm talking to other rappers, we all collectively, the ones that I have met, we all collectively have a don't give a fuck mentality. And now when it comes to the music business side, I'm different. I give a lot of fucks. I respect a lot of the promoters. I respect a lot of the venue owners. I do everything by the book. But when it comes to my music, if you are listening to BDUB music, you're probably in a weird trance, because I have weird beats, and you're in a vibe. You're definitely relaxing, or you're smoking or something. It's chill, but you're also at the end of the song or whatever, like, man, my shit really, like, it doesn't matter what I do, what I'm into, what's happening in my life. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to do what the fuck I want to do, because I am X person, and you can still like feel that way and be chill. Like, that's kind of my vibe. I can be chill and still say, hey, go fuck yourself. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But go fuck yourself, because I'm not trying to impress anyone. And I'm so excited for my first show, because I can't wait for people to be like, yo, what the fuck is this dude? I'm like singing like that Circus Survive kind of harsh grit on some songs. I got an EDM song. I have 2 like R&B style songs. I have like a trap song. I have another trap song that I might play. I have a lo-fi song. And I don't want to be in any one genre. I literally want to, as far as in that realm, I want to be, I kind of want to bounce all over the place. And Drake used to do it well. Like, if you listen to the Views album or Nothing Was the Same album, he like had 6 different styles of music in there. And I was like, oh, he did it so well. So I just feel like if you're really that talented and you really have a good message, do it however the fuck you want to. And that's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
No, that's what's up, man. So before we get out of here, man, where can people find BDUB music at? I know you got Facebook. Are you on Instagram, Twitter?
So I'm not on Twitter, and I thought Twitter was like dead, but apparently it's not. Is it a thing? It's like banging.
Yeah. No. Porn,
I need to get on there.
I was gonna say porn, racism, and politics.
I'm not with all that, man. So I am on Instagram. It's BDUB Music Jax. So BDUB Music JAX. I am on Facebook. Facebook's dead to me. It's like it helps, but it doesn't. And I'm meeting with a good friend of mine who's really huge on Instagram, and he's going to help me kind of blow that up. But all my music is on all streaming platforms. I think it's so cool that if you ever like posted something on Facebook or on TikTok and it's like, you don't own the rights to this. Like, I love posting shit and then putting my own music on the Instagram music thing and, or TikTok and being like, yeah, I actually do own the rights to this shit. So post my shit. But yeah, I'm on TikTok too, but I don't post that much. But Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, it's all under BDUB Music. And I release stuff all the time and I don't say anything. So it's one of those things that if you have your alerts on, it'll tell you BDUB Music release something. And that's kind of, sometimes people text me like, did you release something? I'm like, yeah, I didn't say anything, but that's how it is.
No, that's what's up, man. And I appreciate you coming on, man. This was such a fucking joy, bro, to have you on, man, and catch up.
My pleasure.
Yo, man, this is like, really, really good. And, once this thing takes off, like I know it will, just because it's you, man. And I believe in you. You know what I'm saying? So if I could say anything before we close this out, man, is keep pushing, man. Keep with that same mentality, because if there's anybody I know that's going to fucking make it, it's you, dude, because you have all the talent in the world for it, brother.
I appreciate that. But just know, I'm not trying to make it. I just want to love my own music for the first time. I truly appreciate it. So.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, I love you, man. And I appreciate you, brother.
I love you too.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
No worries.